What's up, Navigating Academia family? This is Dr. J. Phoenix Singh. Great to see you as always. Make sure to smash that like button before we get started today, where I'm going to be answering a set of 2 actual questions from a very valued viewer of ours. So please do subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. You can do me a huge favor by just taking the URL of this video and sharing it on social media. The more people that we can share these videos with, guys, the more people we can help. And that's really what the goal of this channel is to be able to help as many people as possible, right? And to just cut through the BS of academia. Because academia is full of a bunch of BS. The other day on Twitter, I saw somebody... I love there's a Twitter account called something like Academic Chatter, and somebody said, how do you celebrate getting a new publication or something? And I typed it out but didn't send it, and I wanted to say something like, by not staring into the abyss and out loud questioning my life decisions. I thought that was freaking hilarious, right? Also a little true, but still. In any case, let's go ahead and get to the question today. So the 2 questions for today are from Diego. Diego, thank you so much, man. Thank you so much for watching the channel. Thank you for your comment. Thank you for telling me about your work and about everything going on in Costa Rica. I hope everybody's doing great down there. Currently, we got COVID pandemic, so I hope that you're safe. Family's safe, everybody's healthy is very important to me. So you let me know below, just tell me everybody's safe. It's important to me that you guys are okay. So let's go ahead. I'm gonna read Diego's question and then, or 2 questions, right? And then we'll get into it. So this is his whole post. Diego posted these questions on a video that I made that's called Tell Me About You, because I make the channel for you. And so because of that, find that video, watch it, and comment on it, and tell me about you, because I want to know, and I will read, as you're seeing, everybody's stuff, everybody's questions and your background. So here we go from Diego. Diego says, I will soon graduate from my bachelor's in English from the National University of Costa Rica. I have dreams of becoming a professor or researcher in the area of psycholinguistics. Love it. I got a photo in the other room, Diego, of me and Noam Chomsky when I was 18 years old, which was my prized possession for the longest time. Okay, right now I'm planning to get a master's in linguistics and cognitive science in order to get enough research experience to get into a good PhD program. Good job, good idea. Okay, I found your channel by looking for videos on how to become a professor and the pros and cons of academia. Awesome, man. I love the video on the cons of academia video. Has been watched so many times, it's insane. So, okay, I'd love to know some things about you, actually. So, the questions that you've got. So, one of them is, what are your current goals? It's a great question. So, Diego, I was going to totally get out of academia after I sold my last company. I just decided to retire and not do anything. And, of course, you can't do that for very long before you start to go a little bit cuckoo. And so, what ended up happening for me was that I realized that what I was incredibly passionate about is training other people how to do every essential task in academia that involves writing. Writing and publishing specifically, so how to publish in peer-reviewed journals, how to be able to get academic book contracts, and then do everything having to do with the edited book process, how to be able to become the guest editor of special issues, how to be able to find and then write and then manage grants successfully, and everything else you would ever have to do, writing blog posts, writing newsletter articles, making a podcast, everything you can imagine. And so I developed this thing with just a huge amount of blood, sweat, and tears called Publication Academy. And that's going to launch in January of 2021. And so you can go and check that out next year. And I'll, of course, make videos about it. It's at www.publicationacademy.com. And that's a place where you can also personally get in touch with me. It's got over 120 hours of on-demand, almost Netflix-style modules where I walk you through everything in academia. That's going to make you a frickin' machine. It is a paid thing, right? Because it's an absurd amount of valuable content that nobody else has. And that's the reason I built it, is because there was nothing out there quite like it. The next largest competitor it's I think 18 hours or something like that. And this is 100 and some odd hours. So it's all professionally produced and edited. It's going to be great, man. So definitely check it out. So that's my current goal, is getting that out there and helping as many people as possible. That's the dream, man. I've honestly, professionally, financially, in these things, I've hit 100% of my goals, which is very weird because I'm 33. But it's one of these things where if you're blessed enough to have that be your circumstance, everything doubles. Right? You may think that, let's say, you get really, really lucky financially or in anything in life, that all of a sudden, you have less responsibility than other people now because your life is easier than other people's. But in actuality, Diego, everything doubles right? So your responsibility to be a good person doubles because other people around you don't have that ability to kind of fail and to be calm, cool, and collected and these sorts of things. They have a really, really hard life and they got to keep grinding at their jobs and these sorts of things, right? You won't have that problem. So your responsibility to be kind to other people doubles. Your responsibility to use that money and your available time to help other people, it doubles. Everything doubles, right? And your responsibility to try to do big things also doubles because you have the ability to fail and still be okay. And that is a luxury that so infinitesimally few people in this world have. And so that's what I decide to spend my time on, right? So that's my current goal. Oh, and to get married and have kids. That'd be fun. I'm 33. It's a good age. So that's what I got. I focused on career until now, and now we get to have some fun. Plus, I bought a new car. So that's cool, right? Okay, here we go. Next. Can you give us your opinion on personality research, specifically Big Five? I'm currently writing a paper on it, which may be my very first publication. Yay! Woo! You're the man, Diego. Love it. So I would love to hear your opinion on the matter. Thank you very much, Dr. Singh. Keep up what you're doing. Much love. Much love to you. Okay, here we go. Big Five. Love me some Big Five. Anybody who doesn't know what Big Five is, so these are kind of the Big Five personality traits. They call them all sorts of things, but Big Five is kind of the colloquial way of talking about them. And these are like introversion and extroversion, agreeableness, openness, conscientiousness, neuroticism. Yep, that's all five. Okay. I think that it's a brilliant shorthand way to be able to think about things. I think that the literature is pretty consistent in terms of the stability of the factors. I thought about, Diego, like, what should I say about them that you wouldn't already know and that nobody else already knows in these things. So, the way that we kind of come up with these things, right? These are what we call latent constructs. You guys know as well as I do that there's just a bajillion tests out there, personality tests. It could be, what Disney princess are you? I am confident that I am Princess Jasmine, not only because of my skin tone, but also because of my kind of vibe. So it doesn't matter if it's something like that, or if it's because, or if it's, a test like this, Stanford Binet, which I'm confident has the same level of reliability as the Disney princess exam. But in seriousness, it doesn't matter what it is, the items that comprise any scale. If you administer the test over and over and over again, collect a sufficient amount of data in terms of the codification of the items, you can run it through. There's all sorts of different systems. M+, there's packages for Stata and for all these sorts of, algorithms, or not algorithms, platforms and packages. R has got a package, right? Where you can conduct factor analysis. And the basic idea behind factor analysis is that, you got all of these different items on a test. If you suck the marrow out of the items and you say these items must all be measuring something, right? And you suck the marrow out of them statistically, right? What do they load onto? That's the idea, right? And in some cases, there's one underlying construct like G, right? In intelligence, general intelligence. Or it could be something where there are multiple different factors. Like if you think about the most famous test to be able to evaluate psychopaths, which is the Psychopathy Checklist Revised, it has two latent factors in it, right? So that's what factor analysis is. Now, that may still be a little bit confusing for you. So it's like if I say G.I. Joe, Barbie, Tonka trucks, and Cabbage Patch Kids. A lot of people, and these are American toys, by the way, American toy brands, if you're not from the US, that I grew up with. And if I just say those things, try as I might, I'm already thinking about boy toys and girl toys. Now, did my sister play with my Tonka trucks? Yeah. Did I play with her dolls? Sure. Right? So it's kind of arbitrary, but at the same time, it's definitely something where, like, you don't even need to say it. The brain naturally divides stuff out. And this is what factor analysis does statistically. It just takes all the data that's there on the items on a scale, and it just sucks the marrow out of them, right? That's the idea there. So Big Five is the exact same idea. So the point that I want to make here is a pretty simple one, Diego, which is that just always keep in mind that even though, we have these kinds of fancy labels, again, extroversion, openness, conscientiousness, neuroticism, agreeableness, we have these labels, but I always want you to remember that the label is completely and utterly arbitrary, okay? The way that factor analysis works is not that, like, you have all these scale items and then you suck the marrow out of it statistically and then, like, words come along with it, and it's like, okay, here's factor 1, here's the 3 items that load onto it, and it's called agreeableness. No, that's not true. And then factor 2 is, these 7 items that load onto it and intercorrelate, and it has a label of this. There's no labels, right? The individual who is conducting the research, right, they literally are just coming up with it. Right, they're basically spitballing. That's what it is, right? There's in my field, there's something similar where it's like test development, but not using factor analysis, but it's a psychometric test development, and people will come up with these scales, and then they literally will just look at the items that load, and then they will just come up with a name. So, for example, there's one tool in my field. It's called the HCR 20, Historical Clinical Risk Management 20. It's got 3 subscales: historical, clinical items, risk management items. Right now, they didn't come up with some genius way of how to be able to do that. They literally just looked at the items. There's 20 of them, and they said, hey, these ones seem to all be historical. Let's put them in this subscale. We'll call it the historical, subsection, right? And then we've got the second subsection, which is all the clinical items. Why? Because they just looked at all of them. They said, these are all current clinical issues, right? Put them together. Risk management, the exact same thing. So there's no magic here. Oftentimes what happens is that, we look at something, we look at a model, we look at a theory, and all of a sudden it takes on a life of its own. And I really do feel like Big Five has done that. There's some people, I am a big Jordan Peterson fan, huge Jordan Peterson. He's one of the only people that I respect. I respect very few people in academia, just generally speaking, because I think most people don't know what they're talking about. And I think most people bullshit, and I don't respect that. I think that people need to be really transparent, really straightforward, and I think people need to help people instead of just always trying to help themselves, and there's not many people out there like that. Jordan I really do respect for that reason. And he's a forensic psychologist. Woo! So gotta love the forensic psychologist. So is Dr. Phil. I don't know what it is with all these cool people and being forensic psychologists, but I'll take it because I'm one too. So when it comes to agreeableness, openness, conscientiousness, these sorts of things, I've got the list down here, right, of these different factors. Literally, those are arbitrary names. In actuality, they should just be saying there's 5 factors: factor 1, factor 2, factor 3, factor 4, factor 5, and depending on the test or whatever that's been administered, from whence your data is coming, solid grammatical structure of that sentence, from whence your data is coming, that is basically what is going to load onto each of these factors, right? And essentially, there's 2 types of factor analysis. Of course, we've got exploratory factor analysis, where we don't know what we're expecting to find in terms of the latent structure of the scale, versus confirmatory factor analysis, where we got a pretty good idea, we got a hypothesized set of latent factors, and we're saying, does this new data set or whatever load onto those factors as well, right? That's what we're looking at, and that's a way of kind of doing cross-validation, basically, of your paradigm, of your model. So anyway, those are my views on factor analysis. Those are my views on Big Five, and thank you for asking. Appreciate it, Diego. Thank you very much for being curious. Love curious cats like yourself. I'm one too. So, all right, guys, have a great day. God bless you, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.